Catus Maximus here. Not clickbait. For less than $100, and as far as padlocks are concerned, this is the stoutest, heaviest duty, 2.5 pound block of steel with a loop on it that you can get off of Amazon. This is a Taiwanese manufacturer. Apparently they've been around for a few decades and are finally trying to branch out. This is their flagship product. They're advertising it as Swedish certified class 4. Certainly heavy duty. 14 millimeter or 9/16 shackle with a disc detainer core. I believe it's an 8 disc with 7 active discs. And what kind of, not a lockpicker here, so hopefully one of the lockpick channels will actually pick one of these up and see how good it is. I know that generally speaking, disc detainers are more secure because they require specialized skills and specialized tools. Somebody will really need to know what they're doing. That being said, if somebody's buying a lock like this, which just dwarfs something like the Master Lock Magnum, you got to remember to replace the plates on these Magnums, otherwise you can open them with pliers. Still, much huger. These would be more along the lines of, say, railroad locks. Here's like a standard little 5/16 5200 American lock. And for like the same price, $55, well, I got this shipped. Here's a ABIS 83 CS55, which is a really stout, very heavy-duty, high security lock. It is still quite dwarfed. And ABIS does make locks of this size, but it's mainly the name brands are all over $100. You know, their brands Multi-Lock and ABIS and Abloy, etc. All over $100. Sargent and Greenleaf Environmental, like a railroad lock. That's the easiest way to really describe this thing. About 2 1/4 inches tall, 2 13/16 wide, and about 1 3/16 thick. It's really just a beast. 72 millimeter. It's a 70 millimeter body class lock. Works very smoothly. So besides being a disc detainer core, at least it's a more modern one that tensions either from the middle or the back disc, so that provides the difference. You need specialized tools, and then something that sets this apart is this has it's like using their standard disc detainer core that they use in their other locks, so it has a 1/8 disc, but that's like an anti-drill plate, but then that's stuffed in this lock body, which has this is like anti-drill plate and a spacer core retainer. Can't take this lock apart unless somebody figures out how to get at the system that they use to get this spinner plate to retain itself. But this thing is probably this thick, and that's what sets it apart. Is it needs extra special tools because you can see the key goes almost all the way into the lock. The key goes like this far into the lock, so you need a very special fork tool to get past that. Otherwise, it's a disc detainer. When they're new, they can sometimes catch. You just want to make sure the key's all the way in, and then you just dump the shackle out. There's no springs in these many times because the springs themselves lead to corrosion. For people who are more in the locks, I would compare this to Sargent and Greenleaf, and I think it's better because it has more discs, better anti-drill protection, although it doesn't have the O-ring sealing like the Sargent and Greenleafs do, and this is a billet steel body versus a sintered metal. This lock for $55 also came with 5 keys. It did include a key code tag, but I like that it included 5 keys because if you don't have a grinder, then this lock would be kind of difficult to remove. Even the largest, you could have 49-inch crens with cheater handles on them, and that's what it would take. Maybe a hydraulic bolt cutter might cut through the shackle, but it's very thick. And being Taiwanese, it just comes in a white box and made in Taiwan. I thought this thing was amazing. Just hunting through page after page on Amazon, and then there were just like some of these odd bike locks from Lee Jaw, and I clicked on them, and then they had some padlocks, and they had this huge option. I couldn't really believe it. So that's the deal with this. Absolutely massive. We'll even give you measurements, and there it is, 552, and on the metric, it's the real deal. It really is 14 millimeters on there. We've got a pretty thick chain. This is a 13.5 millimeter. That's a 1/2 inch chain. And this lock's right at home. I mean, a chain like this dwarfs most other locks. And so that's what it's really designed for. There we are. So The biggest lock for less than $100 on Amazon. And to tell you the truth, it has a decent amount of, skilled attack resistance. And as far as mechanical attacks, I mean, this thing is huge. You'd have to chain it up to a diesel truck to even attempt to break it. And as far as just how it looks, it's definitely pretty intimidating, especially with this kind of size and weight to it. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.